Allison here, and I have something very exciting to share with you. Exciting for me anyways. I have finally finished my youngest daughter's first year album. So this is it here. I still have to do the little nameplate, but the most important part, all the pages inside, are finished. So I have been working on this album fairly diligently for the last few months. I had a few layouts finished for it and I had a plan in place for it, but it sort of took Chamel's class, the scrapbook process, to really solidify my vision for it and give me some tools of how to get there. So I have put those into place and I will share this album with you now. So this is the opening page. Now this first year album, I've talked about this before, and I will link up in my blog post all the other blog posts where I've talked about it, but this is sort of the highlights of the year. So the ultrasound pictures, her birth story, you know, meeting the family kind of thing, and then her stats at each month, and then a little birthday shot at the end. That's all this is. It's not the other stories that goes in a different album. This is just a synopsis of her first year. So this is the very first layout I have in here, and there's a story behind this layout which I will share in more detail on my blog post, but suffice it to say, this is not what the layout originally looked like. Originally it had a solid sheet of this green pattern paper in the background, and I couldn't reconcile it with the rest of the album, which has a lot more pink in it. So I decided to cut this part down and mat it onto this paper that has a lot more pink, and I'm much happier with this as the start of the album now. I don't have any photos of like getting the room ready or anything like that, which I have done for previous children. But this was the very first picture we have of her, so it seems appropriate to go at the beginning of the album. And then the next page, this is another layout that I redid for this album. Originally it had a full sheet of this gray heart print, and with the blue and the pink, there was no way I could make it reconcile with the rest of the product I had chosen for this album. So again, I cut this down and matted it on paper from the stash of paper that I had set aside. These are more ultrasound pictures, not from the same day, but from a later ultrasound we did. We tried to have a 3D ultrasound, but there wasn't enough amniotic fluid to make the pictures 3D. But we just wanted verification that it was a girl. And hidden behind here is some very personal journaling that I really won't be upset if she never finds. I needed to get those thoughts out. It was very cathartic for me, and that's why I created the layout in the first place. I think it was for a challenge, but I can't remember now what the challenge was, and I never submitted it, but that's neither here nor there. If eventually she pulls the page out and discovers that there's actually writing under there, then that's fine. I'm happy for her to read that, but if she never reads it, then that's fine too. I know it's there. I needed to get it out. End of story. So that's the second page, and this album is chronological, so that makes sense. These are the second photos we had of her. And then a week before she was born, my sister-in-law threw me a baby shower, and so that's my pregnant belly photo. I like to have one of those in each of my girls' baby albums. The next layout is her birth story, which I have shared before. And then this is a spread that I finished quite recently. The grandparents coming in to meet her in the hospital, and then her older sisters. And then this is an insert I did talking about how we chose her name and who she's named after. And then we get into the month by month sort of progress reports, if you will. Some of these were done for challenges, so I think here it was like quadrants, and here I had to use flowers. but I have tried to stick with all the same supplies so everything coordinates or feels a bit more cohesive. 3 months, 4 months, and that just keeps going. 7, this is a new one that I did for 8 months. This is another new one. All the new ones that you haven't seen yet, I will have shots of in the blog post. When I had already had a layout in place, I tried to make the new layout relate to it. So I've used the blue here, and back here I tried to use well, I used this same paper and some buttons to sort of make it relate to one another. Using most of the same products throughout is what keeps the whole album cohesive. These are 2 new pages, and I was trying to coordinate them. They don't really coordinate very well because this is very pink and this is very sort of red. But unfortunately, it was just kind of the photos. In this photo, you have this bright blue in the background, and I was trying not to pick it up and keep with the softer, like the greens and the turquoises and stuff in the product that I had pulled aside. And then over here she's in these blinking red pajamas. So it was very hard to sort of bring the blue in there, but I did try to use some of the same products. So I've got the little birdie here, which matches the little rabbit. Those are from some Basic Gray stickers, as well as these border strips in the back. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm happy with it. I like the page, so I'm not gonna rip it apart. And then the last page is also my last new one, and this is about her, that one basically, and that's a shot taken from her first birthday party, and she got quite a bit messier than that, but I do have other layouts about these sort of cake smashing that happened. So I'm really happy just to have one shot, and that was, I just wanted to have one picture, have a sort of recap of her, and I think that's a great way to finish the album. Her next album, it doesn't start from this point. It has other stories of her entire life, but any other stories I write of her birthday will go in that album. And this is just kind of a summary, I suppose you could say. So that is the album. I feel like I have been talking about it a lot, so I don't want to go into detail of all the different products and things that I've used. This is a post-bound album. I know that might seem a little strange to people. My other albums are 3-ring, but I like how compact this is. And yeah, it is a bit overstuffed. There's a few embellishments that are quite high, and I might have to go in and take some of those out, or put in the spacers. I'll see how it survives on my shelf for a bit before I go there. But anyways, just wanted to share. It is now finished. I'm so happy, and now I can move on to other projects, which is very exciting. Thanks for hanging out with me for this process, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.